Welcome to the Health, Environment and Safety Training session for manufacturing. This training will equip you with the knowledge and skill to maintain a safe and healthy workplace environment. Throughout the session, we will explore the aspects of health, safety and environmental practices in manufacturing. And by the end of this session, I'm sure you'll understand how these practices contribute to the overall well-being of everyone in the workplace, because it's vital to understand the importance of health, safety, and environmental practices. Trust me, it will help you to gain knowledge and skills to maintain a safe workplace environment. So, let's start the journey to ensuring a safer and healthier workplace for all. We will start with the key objectives essential for maintaining a safe and healthy manufacturing environment. The first objective is to understand the importance of health, safety, and environmental practices in manufacturing. We will know how these practices form the backbone of a secure and sustainable workplace. Our second objective is to learn about the key health guidelines, including hydration, that means taking water regularly, and intermittent breaks. This will expose us to how simple measures like drinking enough water and taking breaks can significantly impact well-being and productivity. Did you know that there are safety precautions for warehouses, machines, and wet floors? Well, if you don't know, do not worry. Our third objective is to explore these safety measures. Here, we will highlight the need for vigilance and following safety regulations to avoid workplace dangers. Now imagine going into a fierce war without an armor or a war dress. That is exactly what it looks like working in a factory without a personal protective equipment, also known as PPE, and reflective jackets. So, our fourth objective is understanding how PPE and reflective jackets safeguard workers from potential risks. Ensuring their safety on site is vital. The necessity of PPE will be our fourth objective. Recognizing the significance of environmental responsibility demands that every individual plays a role in preserving our environment by minimizing littering and spillage. Now, that's going to be our fifth objective. By focusing on these objectives, we will foster a culture of safety, health, and environmental stewardship in our manufacturing operations. Now, let's discuss environmental responsibility and strategies for minimizing littering and spillage. By doing this, we will be contributing to a cleaner and greener workplace. Do not forget, please get ready to ask your questions if you have any, so they can be addressed at the end of this session. Now, are you set? Okay, let's go. Welcome once again to the first session of our training, and I'll be introducing us to health, safety, and environment. You know, it will be nice for us to understand the importance of maintaining a safe and healthy workplace. Don't you think? It's not just about compliance. Ensuring a safe and healthy environment is about protecting lives and livelihood, your life and those of your colleagues. You know why? Every one of us play a vital role in ensuring that health, safety, and environmental practices are upheld. Whether it's following safety protocols, reporting hazards, or minimizing our environmental footprint, our collective efforts shape the well-being of our workplace. Now, topics we will cover in this training session include introduction to health, safety, and environment, safety precautions, personal protective equipment, and environmental responsibility. Throughout this training, we will be equipping you with the knowledge and skills needed to create a safer, healthier, and more sustainable workplace environment. With these foundational concepts in mind, let's proceed with our journey towards a workplace where safety, health, and environmental stewardship are paramount.
First, let us emphasize the relevance of hydration in an industrial setting. Industrial workers are no doubt exposed to excessive temperatures in the warehouses, factories, and more. Let's start by understanding what hydration is and why it matters. Hydration is a process of providing our bodies with an adequate amount of water to support essential bodily functions. Our bodies are made up of around 60% water, and every cell, tissue, and organ require water to function correctly. Manufacturing industry is peculiar, following the kind of physical demands of the job, the exposure to high temperatures for machinery, and the fast-paced nature of the work, hence the increase in fluid loss through sweat. When you lose more fluids than you take in, it is called dehydration, and its impact can be devastating. Aside the fact that dehydration impairs physical performance, it increases accident risk on the factory floor. However, no one would want to experience any long-term health issues caused by dehydration. Also, you need to know some practical tips for staying hydrated throughout the day. Number one is you drink water regularly, even if you do not feel thirsty. This is very important. You keep a tightly covered bottle of water nearby and take sips frequently. Be mindful of caffeinated drinks. Some of these drinks cause dehydration. One simple indicator of hydration is urine. If your urine is pale yellow, it shows hydration. By prioritizing hydration and adopting these simple strategies, we can ensure that we perform at our best while safeguarding our well-being. So, take water regularly, plenty of it, to stay hydrated. Next, let's discuss the recommended frequency and duration of intermittent breaks. You cannot overemphasize the need for a break. I mean, it's your break, you have to take it. But let's understand what intermittent break is. It is short periods of rest taken during the workday to provide relief from continuous tasks. It is an opportunity for you to refresh, recharge, and refocus. It is proper to know the recommended frequency of intermittent breaks, and this solely depends on the nature of your work, individual needs, and environmental conditions. A common recommendation is to schedule a short break every 60 to 90 minutes of continuous work. Take note of that. This interval allows employees to maintain focus and energy levels while preventing fatigue and burnout. However, the duration of the intermittent break is between 5 to 15 minutes, as this short break provides enough time for you to rest, to hydrate, and stretch. Longer breaks, such as meal breaks, are around 30 minutes to an hour, allowing you to fully disconnect from work. Another key essential is to adjust frequency and duration of breaks based on the demands of the task. More frequent breaks may be necessary depending on environmental condition, but your employer would decide what dimension it would take. By tailoring break schedules to match task requirements, employers can optimize employee performance and well-being. So by adhering to recommended frequencies and duration of breaks, employers can create a supportive work environment that fosters employee engagement, creativity, and overall job satisfaction. A recent survey found that 94% of employees who take breaks feel like breaks refresh their perspective on work. Taking regular breaks allows for rest and recovery, reducing the risk of repetitive strain injuries and enhancing your overall well-being. To the next one, let's talk about practical techniques to prevent falls and promote physical well-being. Falls can occur due to various factors, including slippery surfaces, uneven terrain, inadequate lighting, and improper use of equipment. These incidents can result in serious injuries ranging from sprains and fractures to more severe trauma. Learn to keep your work areas free of spills and obstacles that could cause a terrible fall. Encourage regular cleaning and maintenance to ensure floors, walkways, and staircases remain safe and accessible. Another practical tip: wear appropriate footwear designed for the specific demands of your job. There are non-slip footwears. Do invest in them. Buy them if you can. Whenever you are using staircases, elevated platforms, and surfaces, ensure you use available handrails and guardrails. These safety features are to provide support and prevent accidental falls. Also, walk areas that are well lit enhance visibility and reduce the risk of trips and falls, especially during night shifts. Report to your supervisors if the need to replace burnout bulbs arises. Finally, if you can, engage in regular exercise and physical activity to improve your strength, balance, and flexibility. Now let's move on to Section 3, Safety Precautions. Understanding and following these guidelines is crucial for preventing accidents and maintaining a safe working environment. To start with, warehouse safety protocols. Proper stacking and handling of materials are non-negotiable, especially hazardous materials. They can put one at risk of serious injuries if not properly stored, handled, or disposed. Always follow the guidelines to avoid accident. Number 1 is stack materials evenly and securely on shelves to prevent shifting or collapse. Number 2, distribute weight evenly across the shelf surface. One side of the shelf should not be weightier than the other. Number 3, place heavier items on lower shelves to maintain stability. You wouldn't want to place heavier items on the shelf higher than usual. So you place it lower on lower shelves to maintain stability. Avoid stacking materials beyond recommended heights or load capacities. Supervisors can help out in that. And number 5, ensure emergency exit and fire extinguishers are easily accessible and not blocked by materials. Machines are allies, they're not our enemies. So you need to treat them with respect by adhering to safety guidelines. Be available for specific training on safe operation of machines and equipment you use. You also need to familiarize yourself with manufacturers' manual and warning labels of equipment provided and ensure reporting any issues immediately. Be familiar with emergency procedures, including how to quickly shut down machinery in case of any emergency, and how to report accidents or injuries, and also how to evacuate the area safely if necessary. Before operating any machinery, conduct a thorough inspection to ensure that the equipment is in good working condition. Check for any signs of damage, malfunction, or wear and tear that could pose a safety hazard. Other things you need to know: wear appropriate PPE, including helmets and safety shoes. Though PPE may vary depending on the type of machinery and hazards present in your factory environment, do not do without it at every slightest counting second. Avoid distractions such as talking on phone, listening to music, or engaging in unrelated tasks while operating machinery. Focused attention is very essential to safely operate equipment. Now let's talk about preventing falls. This is very crucial to maintaining a safe environment, and here are a few tips I would like to share with you. Quickly clean up any spills or wet spots as soon as they occur. Place visible warning signs around wet areas to alert people to the potential hazard. Signage should be placed both near the wet floor and in surrounding areas to provide ample warnings. Use non-slip mats or rugs in areas prone to moisture such as entrances, kitchens, and bathrooms. These mats provide traction and help absorb excess moisture, reducing the risk of slips and falls. Let's keep our feet firmly on the ground. As a factory worker, you pay attention to where you walk and use handrails whenever available. You report spills and wet areas promptly. I repeat, report spills and wet areas promptly. And while you report, ensure you can identify and address potential slip or fall hazards. I will leave you with this. By putting safety first in all aspects of operations, we can create a workplace where accidents are reduced and everyone can walk confidently and securely.
Understanding personal protective equipment. In any workplace, safety is paramount. That is where personal protective equipment, or PPE, comes into play. So let's delve into the different types of PPE and their crucial purposes. First up, we have gloves. Gloves shield hands from cuts, burns, and exposure to harmful substances. Next, there's helmets. Helmets safeguard the head from impacts and collisions in hazardous environments. Then, goggles. Goggles shield the eyes from chemical splashes, flying debris, and other hazards. Face shields add an extra layer of protection. They are crucial for safeguarding the face from splashes, sparks, and flying debris. Respirators also play a vital role in protecting against airborne hazards. They filter out harmful particles, fumes, and vapors, ensuring safe breathing. Protective clothing. From chemical suits to flaming-resistant gear, protective clothing shields the body from various hazards. PPE is not just equipment, it's a shield that ensures workers can perform their tasks safely. Proper selection and usage are key to a secure workplace. So stay safe and stay protected. Having known the different types of PPE and their purposes, another crucial aspect of factory safety is wearing PPE at all times in designated areas. So let's explore why it is so important to wear PPE consistently in designated areas. Gloves protect your hands from chemicals, cuts, and other harmful substances, reducing the risk of injury or illness, while helmets protect your head from falling objects and impacts. In specific areas such as construction sites, wearing head protection is non-negotiable. Goggles and safety glasses safeguard your eyes from chemical splashes, flying debris, and intense light. I'm sure you know your eyesight is precious, so don't take risks by neglecting eye protection. Respirators ensure you breathe clean air in areas with airborne contaminants. Whether it's dust, fumes, or pathogens, respiratory protection is essential for your health. And finally, protective clothing shields your body from various hazards. From flames to chemicals, the right clothing can mean the difference between safety and injury. Remember, wearing PPE isn't just about following rules, it's about protecting yourself and your colleagues. Always wear your PPE in designated areas. PPE demonstration. Welcome to our PPE demonstration. Today, we will show you how to properly wear PPE to ensure maximum safety on the job. Let's start with gloves, which is one of the most common pieces of PPE. When putting on gloves, ensure they fit easy and cover your hands. Check for any tears or punctures before each use to avoid leakages of chemicals. Next, let's talk about head protection. Adjust your helmet so it sits comfortably and securely on your head. Make sure the suspension straps are properly adjusted to fit properly. Moving on to eye protection, it is vital to wear safety goggles that fit comfortably around your eyes without gaps. Adjust the strap for a secure fit and ensure the lenses are clean and free from scratches. Respiratory protection is essential in an environment with airborne hazards. Choose the right type of respirator for the job and perform a fit test to ensure a proper seal. Replace filters regularly and store respirators in a clean, dry place. Lastly, let's discuss protective clothing. Wear protective clothing that covers your body completely and is appropriate for the hazards present. Inspect clothing for damage before each use and clean it according to manufacturer guidelines. Remember, wearing PPE isn't enough. It must be worn correctly and maintained properly to provide effective protection. So stay safe out there, because safety starts with you. Environmental responsibility. Impact of littering and spillage on the environment and workplace safety. Our environment is a delicate balance of space, but when littering and spillage occur, that balance is disrupted, which leads to consequences for both the environment and workplace safety. Littering not only tampers with the beauty of our surroundings, but also poses significant environmental dangers. Similarly, spillage in workplaces can have severe repercussions. Chemical spills, for example, can contaminate soil, water sources, and the air, posing serious health risks to workers and nearby communities. Spills also increase the risk of accidents and injuries in the workplace. Slippery surfaces can cause falls, resulting in fractures, sprains, or even more severe injuries. Fortunately, there are steps we can take to weaken the impact of littering and spillage. Importance of proper waste disposal and recycling practices. Proper waste management practices, including recycling and responsible disposal, can help prevent littering and reduce its environmental impact. In workplaces, implementing spill prevention measures such as regular inspections and proper storage of dangerous materials is important. Making sure workers have the right gear like gloves and helmets and teaching them how to use it keeps them safe when cleaning up. When we pick up trash and clean up spills, we are not just helping the planet, we are also making our workplaces safer and healthier for everyone. When we all work together, we can create a future that's safer and cleaner. So nowadays, throwing away trash the right way and recycling are super important, especially with the increasing cases of pollution, sickness, and diseases. Disposing trash anywhere not only makes our surroundings look bad, but also hurts the environment and people's health. Therefore, recycling is a great way to cut down on waste and save resources. When we separate items like paper, plastic, glass, and metal, we can keep them out of big garbage dumps and reuse them. Big garbage dumps aren't just ugly, they can also cause big problems for nature. They let out gases that harm the air, make the soil and water dirty, and attract bugs and animals. Throwing trash in the wrong places can also make the ocean dirty, which is bad for sea creatures and the environment, especially plastic trash like styrofoam, which is dangerous for animals in the sea because they might eat it and get stuck in it. But there is hope. If we all start throwing away trash the right way and recycling, we can make things better for our planet. Doing simple things like using things again, recycling, and throwing trash away right can make a big difference. Plus, recycling helps save energy and cuts down on gases that make the air dirty, so our future can be cleaner, greener, and better. So let's all agree to throw away trash properly and recycle, because every small action makes a big difference. Let's protect our planet and keep it safe for generations to come. Strategies for minimizing environmental hazards in the workplace. Conduct a comprehensive hazard assessment. By doing this, we identify and assess environmental risks specific to your workplace, such as chemical exposure, air quality, and waste management. Next, foster engineering controls to reduce hazards at the source. Take measures such as using ventilation systems and spill prevention devices to reduce exposure to harmful substances. Provide appropriate personal protective equipment (PPE) and ensure its proper use. Equip workers with PPE such as respirators, gloves, safety goggles, and protective clothing to reduce direct contact with environmental risks. Also, learn proper waste management practices. Practice recycling programs, dangerous waste disposal procedures, and spill response protocols to minimize environmental impact. Invest in comprehensive training and education of staff. Ensure all employees receive training on environmental dangers, safe work practices, and emergency procedures. Rest assured, practicing these strategies can help minimize environmental hazards in the workplace and create a safer, healthier environment for everyone. So, make it a point of duty to make safety a priority. As we wrap up our training session, let's recap the key points we discussed today. First, we discussed the importance of identifying and assessing environmental hazards in the workplace. By identifying potential risks, we can take proactive actions to minimize their impact on our health and the environment. Next, we emphasized the importance of prioritizing engineering controls. Engineering controls such as ventilation systems and spill prevention devices play a vital role in reducing hazards at their source. We also emphasized the need to provide and properly use personal protective equipment (PPE). When workers use PPE like respirators, gloves, safety goggles, and protective clothing, it reduces risk of environmental hazards. In addition to that, we talked about the importance of proper waste management practices. On job site, it is necessary to apply recycling programs, hazardous waste disposal procedures, and spill response protocols to minimize environmental impact. Lastly, we explained the importance of comprehensive training and education. It is important for workers to receive training on environmental hazards, safe work practices, and emergency procedures for maintaining a safe and healthy workplace. With the application of these processes, we can create a safer, healthier workplace for everyone. Everyone plays a crucial role in maintaining a safe and productive work environment. So as you go on with your daily tasks, remember to apply the knowledge you've gained from this training. Remember, wearing your PPE consistently and correctly is very important as you carry on with your daily task. Whether it's gloves, safety goggles, or respirators, your PPE is your first line of defense against workplace hazards. Be watchful in identifying potential hazards. Also take appropriate action to address them. Thank you for your attention and commitment to safety. Well done on completing your training. Now, it's time to put your knowledge to practice in your daily work routines. As you go on with your daily tasks, remember that everyone plays a crucial role in maintaining a safe and productive work environment. So apply the knowledge you've gained from this training. Note that safety is a team effort. Look out for your colleagues and communicate openly about any concerns or dangers you encounter. By working together and applying the knowledge gained in this training, we can create a culture of safety where everyone feels empowered to make a difference. So let's roll up our sleeves, apply what we've learned, and make safety a priority in everything we do. Together, we can create a safer, healthier workplace. As we come to the conclusion of this health, environment, and safety training session, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for your participation. Your commitment to learning and implementing the guidelines and practices discussed is exceptional. You are the driving force behind creating a safe, healthy, and environmentally responsible workplace.
Hi, this is the Level 3 Award in Emergency First Aid at Work, and my name is Dave Summers. So let's have a look at the units or modules we'll be covering in the course. Number 1, an introduction. What is emergency first aid? What is first aid? Number 3, emergency first aid in the workplace. 4, responsibilities of the emergency first aider. 5, action in an emergency. Then we look at the primary survey and secondary assessment. Followed by 8, breathing and circulation. Principles of resuscitation, disorders of respiration, disorders of the circulation. Number 12, wounds and bleeding. Then we go on to disorders of consciousness, foreign objects, burns and scalds. We'll follow this with bones, joints and muscle injuries. Then poisoning, bites and stings, effects of heat and cold, and finishing with asthma. So let's have a look at the first subject, number 1, introduction, the emergency first aider.
Accidents in the workplace can happen at any time. That's why the law requires all companies to provide adequate training and resources in first aid to their employees, so that immediate assistance can be given to someone who's been injured until qualified medical assistance arrives. This DVD will help in that training process. A series of modules will show examples of the most life-threatening and common conditions which first aiders may have to deal with. In each case, we'll demonstrate how you should follow the aims of first aid. Firstly, you should aim to preserve life. That means checking for safety for you, the casualty, and any bystanders. Then you should carry out the necessary checks for maintaining the airway, breathing and circulation, and be prepared to carry out life-saving emergency first aid. Your second aim must be to prevent the condition worsening. That entails assessing a casualty's injuries through a thorough examination, prioritizing and treating life-threatening conditions first, and avoiding moving the casualty if at all possible. Finally, you should aim to promote recovery by giving first aid treatment in accordance with your training. You should reassure the casualty, arrange for emergency medical aid if necessary, and provide care with confidence, trying to relieve any discomfort and anxiety. This course will not make you a doctor, nurse, or paramedic, but it will give you the basic skills which may just be enough to save a life.
So, number 2, what is first aid? First aid is the initial or immediate assistance given to someone who has been injured or taken ill before the arrival of qualified medical assistance. And remember the 3 P's. What are the aims of first aid? The first one is to preserve life. The second one is to prevent the condition from worsening. And the third one, to promote recovery. Number 3, emergency first aid in the workplace. Now, with first aid at work provision, risk assessment should cover the following: workplace hazards and risks, the size of the organisation's history of accidents, the nature and distribution of the workforce, the remoteness of the site from emergency services, remote and lone workers, employees working on shared or multi-occupied sites, annual leave and other absences of first aiders. As an emergency first aider, you should liaise with management and other first aiders. And this is to ensure that the provision of first aid is organised, to ensure adequate first aid kits are available, and to keep records and reports. This is a slide. I'm not going to go through this in detail. If at any time in the near future you want to take a copy of this or take a screenshot and print it out, that's fine. So this just looks at the category of risk, which is either lower or higher, the number of employees employed at any location, so that goes from fewer than 25 up to more than 50, and the suggested number of first aid personnel, depending on, again, the risk and the number of employees. And this is an interactive part of the course. I say interactive. It's really going to be me going through individual points. Again, if you want to pause this video, look at it, think of which items you think go into the first aid kit or what should be found in the first aid kit. I'll go through it in some detail now. So if we start with tablets, do you think any tablets of any form should go into the first aid kit? What I'll do is drag it in and see what happens. No pills, tablets or medicines should be included. Let's look at safety pins, take that in. Yes, your kit should include 6 of these. Sterile dressing. Yes, your kit should include 6 of these. What about a hypodermic syringe? No, they should not be included. General guidance on first aid procedures. Yes, that goes in there too. iPads. Yes, your kit should include 2 iPads. Aspirins. No, as with the other tablets here, pills, tablets and medicines should not be included. What about antiseptic? No, creams, lotions and potions should not be included. This one looks like another tablet. No pills, tablets and medicines. Triangular bandage. Yep, your kit should include 6 of these. Scissors. Only when a risk assessment deems it necessary should you include a pair of blunt-ended scissors. Disposable gloves. Yeah, well done. And the last one, plasters. Yeah, your kit should include a variety of 20 adhesive dressings. So again, if you want to go through this, as I mentioned earlier, just take a copy of it or pause the video so you can decide which items should go into the first aid kit. So here's the suggested contents: a minimum guidance leaflet, 20 adhesive dressings individually wrapped in assorted sizes, 2 sterile iPads, 6 triangular bandages individually wrapped and sterile, 6 medium sterile wound dressings individually wrapped and unmedicated, 2 large sterile wound dressings individually wrapped and unmedicated, 6 safety pins and disposable gloves. The first aid container, consideration should be given to the design, colour, size and location that it's kept at. So it should be easily to locate. Colour is usually green with a white cross on, but it doesn't have to be that colour. Also, you need to consider ordering and replenishment of stock, and the container must be checked frequently for damaged packaging, out-of-date stock and cleanliness. Just as I mentioned there, the bandages, the wound dressings and the plasters, they will have a date on them, so make sure you replace them if they go out of date.